So I'll ask one more question. So this is for a startup that is looking to develop SaaS or mobile product, right? So software as a service, right? What are the things that they should validate/test before investing in development?
Yeah, this is a good question because I talk to a lot of students about this. Not about that specifically, but the lessons learned from this. A lot of students come to me with product ideas and want advice on creating a product. You guys. And the first question I ask them is, are you in this because you want to get more experience as a software developer, or are you in this to make a viable, successful business? Okay? They are not 100% mutually exclusive, but if you're starting out as a new developer, they're most likely in conflict with each other. I'll give you an example. If you want to build, I can use iOS. If you want to build a Rails application, and you've never done Rails before, and you want to get great experience in Rails, and you want to build this, you want to build the next Facebook. To learn that and program it might take you a year or two, right? It'll take a long time. And that's really good if you're in it for the engineering reasons. If you're in it to get more experience, become a better developer, 100% do that. But if you're in it for business success reasons, that might be a really terrible way to go, because that is really slow time to market. 2 years to the market is like really long. Like, to be honest, you should be able to get to the market or just have something built, an MVP, in weeks, right? So, if you go down this route of like you have a SaaS idea or you have a product idea or whatever, and you you want to validate some things before you get to code, before you develop, ask yourself first what you're in this for. And by the way, that can change over time. That can definitely change over time. That can change day to day. But decide what you're in it for. If you've decided that it is for the business reasons, the question comes down to what can you validate or what should you validate before you go into code. Okay? It's kind of a leading question in a way. You should validate your product idea, right? But how do you do that? There's a lot of ways to validate product ideas in terms of like building prototypes, using existing software, talking to people, getting that feedback way before you touch code. Okay? I'll give you an example. So I've had this idea for a long time about creating this marketplace for custom. Okay? So the idea is that it's not generic art where you can enter your name, Jack, and then you have this nice t-shirt that says Jack on it, right? But more that you would have art that's specifically designed around the letters J-A-C-K in a specific way. Right? So it'll be this marketplace where artists can go on and upload name art specifically to people's names. Like my friend got me this gift one time and it said Lee on it, but it's kind of a cool design. And it would only work with the letters L and I. So that's such a cool design, right? So I wanted to build a marketplace where artists could upload these things and then customers could buy this stuff and then attach it to t-shirts or whatever, and could also request like, oh, my name, is Hrithik, can you create a custom name art for me or whatever, right? So this is the idea. So to build this app, it would take quite a long time actually. So what I could do to validate the idea, and if I listen to my own advice, is I could literally go onto something like Teespring. So Teespring is something you can upload custom art and put it on a t-shirt and sell it, right? I could create those t-shirts and sell them on Shopify. I could do all these things before I actually built the app, right? The software out there to validate this idea. If I put it out there and people start buying this stuff, I'm like, hey, maybe there actually is a market for this, right? Maybe I'll get other designers to come and start posting their stuff. And then, now people are really interacting. Okay, now maybe I'll build the platform, right? So you can test your ideas this way. Right? Kijiji is a good example, right? You can test a lot of ideas on Kijiji, right? And validate that there's actually a market around there, right? So the biggest thing to validate is, will people actually use your app? Will people actually, like buying is a different thing, but will people actually use what you're trying to build, right? And you can ask people, you can do surveys, you can build prototypes, you can use existing software. There's a lot of things you can do before you actually start to build your own. There's a company in town called RVZ, I think, and they're a marketplace for renting RVs. And their very first app, I believe, was built in Joomla, which is like is it Python? No, not Python. It's a content management system, kind of like WordPress, right? So they built an app on WordPress, and then when they got funding and everything, then they went to build it from scratch and build a custom software. Right? So So there's a lot you can prototype, there's a lot you can validate beforehand. The biggest thing you should validate before you get to code, if you're in it for the business idea, is just validate that people will actually use your app. And I tell you, if you get a real person using your app, that is excellent motivation. That's like the number one feedback that you can get. Right? You get somebody who's actually using your app and saying, like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Right? That's why custom software is very rewarding. Custom software is like you're building software for someone to specifically use and they're paying you money for it. So they're most likely going to use it, right? And so you get a lot of good feedback that way. Cool.
I think that kind of wraps up our time here.
Awesome.
So thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming out. Is there like any last piece of like if let's just say you're never going to see these people ever again?
Yeah.
Right. Is there any last?
The way I hang around you all, I'm pretty sure I'm like that high school student that never leaves high school.
Is there any like last piece of advice?
I think you guys, like, I think my personal success comes a lot from, without sounding too formal, getting very comfortable with small, achievable experiments, right? So if you want to try something, just set yourself a small, achievable goal and experiment with it, right? A lot of what I do is just trying things out, and they happen to work. And we do this all the time at BiteSite, right? We implement a process just by trying it out. Like, you know, someone will make a suggestion, we'll be like, okay, let's try it out. I don't know if it's going to work or not, let's try it out. And then some things will stick and some things won't, right? So there's a lot of things that I've tried that have not stuck. And there's a couple things that I've tried that have stuck, right? My most recent one, like, endeavor was like the podcast. So I did a podcast, I tried it out, and it stuck. And so it propelled me to keep doing it, right? So I think if you guys want to achieve success, like, and you're not really getting it right now, try small, achievable experiments that can really work. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, honestly, Hrithik, for organizing this. I'll hang around if you guys have any more questions.